the Sleep Geek Podcast. It's a raucous romp through the mattress industry with your hosts, Mark Kinsley and Mark Quinn. Dos Marcos. Mattress industry mavens, hang on to your quilted pillow tops because this tick's about to get real.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, on Facebook Live. We actually just started using LinkedIn more, and so if you're coming over from LinkedIn, thank you, to kind of promote. We love doing the Facebook Live stuff because it gives you a chance to ask us questions live, and we love that. We love the interaction, so dial in, tune in, and speak up. We'd like to have the interaction.
Yeah, I think whenever I put the post out, I said, comment, engage, and throw virtual tomatoes.
At him. So there you go. So, hey, you want to start? Are we waiting?
We're waiting
jump
on
in?
Hey, Evan, one thing, that light up there, I'm trying to push this door open, but I'm kind of in the dark a little bit, which is normal for me. I'm kind of
is that a metaphor?
Yeah.
Hey, so guess what? My daughter turned 16 yesterday.
Oh, you poor guy.
So for all of those, for those of you who had, while we're fixing the lighting here, who have had a kid turn 16 and start driving, it's a little freaky.
Tilt it up a little bit.
Number one, it makes you feel a little bit old. And number two, when they get in the car and they're starting to drive, it's a little nerve-wracking, man. They drive off for the first time. It's a weird deal. And maybe it's a weird deal because I was such a moron when I was that age, and I know the stupid stuff I did. My daughter's much more intelligent than I am. But anyway, so started driving, just like drove off.
And you watched that happen.
I watched it happen, and so
How did that make you feel deep down?
Yeah, man, a little older for sure. I don't know, proud maybe is a good word because I'm proud of her. She's just a great kid. And to see her kind of evolve into who she is pretty cool. But yeah, so there you go. And the driver's license, getting that whole thing is exactly the nightmare that you might think it is, going to the DMV and waiting on it. And I think she barely passed too. So anyway.
She barely passed. Hey, are we up and
She
recording?
did.
We're live. So
Okay.
We're on the podcast. It's all rolling right now.
That's what you call
Hey, you
killing
know what
time.
happened when you were talking about your daughter
Yes.
getting her driver's license?
Yes.
Quick story about me getting my driver's license.
Did you pass it?
I did pass
You
it.
did.
The only
Barely?
the only mistake I made was I pulled a little too far out into the walkway. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have to leave it for pedestrians.
Yeah.
But imagine this scene.
That's why they call it a walkway.
Well, yeah. In Baxter Springs, Kansas, there aren't a lot of pedestrians walking around. So
right.
usually it's like I'm at the stoplight, I can see and cars can pass. No, I did the entire driver's test in a full neck brace because I had a broken neck.
So how could you check mirrors and stuff? Did you whole body
You got to use your peripheral vision to check the mirrors. And I walked in there. My mom, I'm 16. I'd been in a car accident when I was 15. And so I broke my neck. I'm in this neck brace. And I told my mom, I was like, well, I want to get my license. And she goes, well, we can go and try. And so we walk into the DMV, and the guy looks up over his glasses from his newspaper at this kid walking in a neck brace. And we said, we're ready to take our driving test. And he goes, okay. I thought they were going to say, no, you got to come back whenever you can actually turn your head.
So to rewind this story, I feel like a jerk because the comment was from you. I was in a neck brace, and here I am listening to the story, and my reaction should have been, oh my God, what happened? But I know you're okay. Obviously, you made it through whatever that issue was. So you had
me being here kind of ruins the punchline.
Yeah. But you were all right. So you passed.
I passed it, yes. And then I was out driving around and riding around I don't know. We were cruising Maine when I was 16, still in the neck brace in the back of my buddy's trucks. I'm like, that was not part of my recovery plan.
So check this out. A guy is walking into the DMV. My daughter is nervous as hell. And so David Allen Otten says he loves his new shirt. Good, man. I'm glad you got that.
Hey, this one right here, baby. Look
right
at
there.
that.
Oh, look at you.
That's kind of meta.
So anyway, this guy walks into the DMV and has this really horrible look on his face. His dad doesn't look any better. He fails his test. So then, so he goes in, whatever. Now my daughter is really freaking out because she doesn't want to fail her test and be embarrassed by her friends, and she really wants her license. And so anyway, when they leave, the officer comes out. Turns out that the kid did okay driving, but there were some things that maybe he needed to do better. But as they sat in the parking lot, she was reviewing the test with him. He gets his phone out and he's scrolling social media while she's trying to help him understand what he did wrong in the driver's test. Failed him right there.
Good for her.
Good for
you
her.
Should
no
fail.
doubt. Hey, can you imagine The guy,
Yes,
if the
unfortunately,
kid
yes.
gets his phone out and starts like with the
He's
cop
like, yeah,
sitting
yeah,
in the car.
yeah. What's that?
Yeah,
now?
I got you.
What's that part about?
I
Like,
tell you what,
not running from the cops? Yeah, I got
how
that.
about
I picked up on that.
How
No
about
problem.
this, officer? Text me, like all this instruction. Just send it to me in a text. It like works better for me.
Yeah.
Or better yet, snap it, man. Just like a quick video.
That's
snap
what
me all
works
your
for me,
recommendations.
okay?
That's what works for me.
Have you seen? I've been driving down the road on
Amazing.
I-44. Have you seen hashtag BUPD?
No.
Hashtag BUPD. Anybody know
that?
what it means? In the comment section.
BU.
Buckle up, phone down.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
My at lunch after celebrating her birthday and the driver's test success. Two things: drinking and driving, of course, right? And then the phone. Like the phone is such a threat,
phone.
and so anyway, as parents, we have to be good about it too, and not get our stuff out. But anyway,
Well, I noticed
we have a lot
whenever-
to talk about.
Whenever
so-
I text you, you have like this automatic text that kicks back to me and says, "I'm driving at the moment. I'll answer my
Right.
text whenever." And I like that. Actually, that inspired me to do the same thing.
No, it's
I didn't
nice.
know that was an option.
and then you just hit the "I'm not driving" button, and you proceed
Yeah.
doing what you need to do.
Oh no!
I'm kidding.
Only when
I'm
you're
kidding.
a passenger,
No, no,
right?
no, no, I know.
Kids.
I know.
We have a thriving audience of young
lot of
people that want to be
teenagers.
in the mattress business.
A lot
so.
of teenagers watching the Sleep Geek podcast live today. So hey,
We got to dig into it with Amazon.
we do really interesting article out. I just read it today on on Furniture Today. Sorry, Clint Engel, June 14th, comes out and talks about Amazon growing, and by their estimation, Amazon already holds the largest market share in the furniture and bedding space. Think about that, okay? And I guess we knew that they're big in everything they do, but I didn't realize that. They grew in the United States furniture and bedding business. Are you ready for this one? 51% from the year before, up to $4 billion. Now, I want you to think about something.
Now, $4 billion as a furniture and bedding category.
As a furniture and bedding business combined, right? But I want you to think about something. To grow 51%, if you're a $1 million company, pretty good, right? You get to 2. If you're a $10 million company, okay, you get to 20 million. But if you're a $500 million company and you grow 51% to now be that would be a $2 billion company, and you grow 51% and become a $4 billion, that's a massive, massive growth with a company that size. Would you agree?
Oh, I know so. I mean, you think about, now we're not a consumer retail business, but you think about Leggett & Platt, and it's about a $4 billion company. It's a public company. To get to $8 billion, that would be a massive
Right.
shift. Now, I expect the company can get there, but at the same time, you look at this and you think, anybody that's in business right now, you think about your own dynamics and what it takes to actually make that type of needle moving shift. That is huge, huge seismic activity.
It is. Now, further in the report, Ashley is number 2, right? And they've done a great job. Their bedding sales estimated at 3.6, furniture and bedding, $3.6 billion. I also have highlighted that Amazon's mattress okay, so here's bring it home to the mattress industry. The mattress industry growth jumped 82%. 82%. They're now $1.1 billion last year.
In mattresses.
Right.
On Amazon. Over $1 billion.
Bedroom
1.2.
furniture increased 45% to $800 million. And furniture sales were up 40% to $550 million. Mattresses, nearly 75% of the mattresses that they sell are all foam and from Zinus, so imports.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy numbers there. And so a couple of things to take away. Amazon is a beast, and no matter what they do. Actually, Kinsley, we had a podcast with John Collins. I think it was episode 71, if I'm not mistaken, on Sleep Geek. So go check that out, because we talk about Amazon and all the stuff that they do to be compelling and relevant and grow. So if you want to have products on there, he gives you the roadmap for it. But did you think that it was growing that fast? 80? What did it say? 80? 75? No, 75%.
Well, here's what
did
I heard
say?
behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, I heard the import category is growing at a significant clip. And if the import category is growing at a significant clip and retail, brick and mortar retail wasn't experiencing that import throughput, it had to be coming into the marketplace from somewhere. right, or through some
Right.
channel, and it was through Amazon. So I had a good sense that it was massive and seismic. But I tell you what, one of the other pieces of analysis here is that some of these emerging brands, the
Right.
Casper, Tuft & Needle, Lisa's of the world, they've really elevated the category awareness of a mattress. They did that, I think, by becoming
No
relevant
doubt.
in the digital age. Now, on top of that, they started pushing mattresses through the online channels. So they elevated the awareness that you could buy online. And on top of that, many of them sell through Amazon. So that was like a perfect recipe for the dominant channel that had the most eyeballs to say, we're really going to tick this
Right.
thing up. We're going to start pumping mattresses through here. And they've done it. And it's been in the form of imports. And, that's not good for the marketplace. And that was one of the fears when I gave my Furniture Today speech. I polled the LinkedIn group. And I said, what are some of the greatest fears? What do you think's happening in the marketplace? And when I looked at the comments and looked at the data that I got from that little research experiment, and it was a good sample size of 100 people,
Right.
what I found was the fear is that low prices are going to create an expectation of a lower quality product. So it's going to speed up the replacement cycle. But whenever you do replace it in 2 or 3, 4 years, you're going to expect a cheap quality product again. And that race to the bottom flywheel continues.
Well, so there's always been a race to the bottom in our industry, right? So whether it be a lead price point on Posturepedic, Perfect Sleep, or Beautyrest back in the day, now it's shifting, and it seems to be Amazon with some of the Zionist stuff. Now there's some import stuff that's of high quality, so we want to bucket it all in the same place. But a lot of that stuff fluctuating from $229 in a queen up to $279, depending on the week you
And
find
I think
it.
people know about that green tea mattress, like
Right.
down to like $189.
Oh,
something like
really?
that.
I
It's
didn't know
insane.
that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and then there's some suspicion that there's some dumping in that. But anyway, bottom line is incredible growth for Amazon. So here's the question, Kinsley. So they grew 82 mattresses grew 82% to 1.1 billion. If it's 82% in 17 to 18, what's it going to be 18 to 19 with that kind of momentum?
Well, if you're going to maintain a 50% growth rate, then you are an absolute dragon.
Yeah, I mean, my gosh. So would
So
you?
I don't think that can.
Would we
that's
sound
gonna
stupid
happen.
if we said they could do another 80%? You'd sound stupid saying it. You
Yeah.
would have sounded stupid saying in 2016 Amazon's going to grow 80% from $500 million to $1 billion, right? You would be stupid. That's where I got mixed up earlier. $500 million is what their
$500 million to $1
mattress
billion, yeah.
business was in 2016. And would you have ever thought that they were going to grow
I don't think
from
anybody
$500 million?
would.
I don't think so either.
I mean, I think when we look at this category, I mean, what I kind of outlined earlier, I think is our internal echo chamber perception of it, which is these emerging brands are the ones that are making all the waves in the industry. And really, to Dave Perry's credit, I think it was at the Furniture Today Bedding Conference 2 years ago or 1 year ago. He was talking about, look, hey, Amazon is the one that's really doing the volume from a channel standpoint. We know the Casper, Lisa, Tuft & Needles of the world are making waves in terms of connecting with direct-to-consumer, disrupting a traditional model, all of those things. But they weren't the ones driving the volume. And then on top of that, there was this thing happening in the wake, which was imports just started flooding in. And like you said,
Right.
suspicions of dumping. But if there is like foul play there, on the part of the Chinese government or whoever it might be, then it's going to again shift the dynamics of the industry. That's like why it's one of the most interesting times I think to be in this world.
it's Russia, dude.
It's Russia.
It's not China, it's Russia.
Russia,
Russia
yes, I
is
did-
the core of the problem for the mattress industry import. No, it's China. But Russia is for everything else. Final to that point, the e-commerce. So I wrote 2 blogs, Q's U's. Last week was, what advantage does brick and mortar have over e-commerce? And this week was, what advantage does e-commerce have over brick and mortar? So go check those out. It's worth a read. And
I mean, it's almost like 1 week you're wearing a blue shirt and 1 week you're wearing a pink shirt.
hey man, we got to cover both sides, right? There's,
Yeah.
but they both have advantages.
Yeah.
So they both have advantages. The question is, who is? I think the evolution is the right answer to that. It's Stu Carlitz put a comment on LinkedIn, and my reaction to his comment was, I think it's the evolution of the brick and mortar guy that does a great job of getting into digital and representing himself and catching up with that, right? And it's the digital guy that does a good job of a brick and mortar execution, bringing
I think that's true. Now,
Potentially.
on the contrary, I think the people that are doing really well from a direct-to-consumer, vertically integrated standpoint are the ones that start digitally, because so many eyeballs are originating online, and then they're looking for growth. And where are they looking for growth? Brick and mortar, physical store locations.
Look at Tempur-Pedic and Select Comfort. Both started long form digital, so television.
Select Comfort's interesting too, because they are really the model for so many of these emerging brands. Like if they were to look at Select Comfort, they could say, hey, we're trying to be vertically integrated, we're trying to be digitally relevant, but ultimately we want this owned brand experience. And that's what Select Comfort's been doing for years.
No doubt.
I mean, that's why they're a billion-dollar company and
doing
one of
it
the
well.
leaders in the industry.
And the best part, I think, of those guys is they've evolved their brand, right? They continue to reinvent. They come out with new products. They've done really well with the integration of technology. Their stores look terrific. They control the selling experience, so it's all cool. Hey, Evan, would you do me a huge favor? Would you
Try to
hand me
get some
that
water back
Yeah,
there?
I'm like...
Hey, let's stay on the digital front while
No,
Quinn's
it's right
getting
there,
a
bro.
drink.
Right there, man.
Yeah, right here on the edge. That one's mine. I don't want
that
his
one. It's my
backwash in mine.
ISPA. Did you get one of these from ISPA?
You got an edit? I didn't get one of
that
those
out.
from ISPA. What's up
Can you
with
see
that?
it?
I'm on the
Look
Better
at
Sleep
that.
Council and
ISPA.
everything.
Check it out.
See,
and it's
actually
a
a real Yeti.
This is no knockoff, man. That's the real
Man,
thing.
look
See
at
how the
that
light
thing.
shines off of that? That's nice.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Man,
go ahead.
I'm jealous now. Well, we're talking about digital versus brick and mortar and the intersection of all those things. And I thought it was interesting. Restonic teamed up with Furniture Today to do a digital divide study, or essentially that's what it came out to be. And they're talking about what consumer perception is for online and how they navigate that process. 8 out of 10 consumers said they read online consumer reviews before they purchase a product. No shocker there. You get online, hey, look at all the star ratings.
Yep.
Look at all the reviews. I'm going to read that one.
But
Hey,
8 out of 10, that's a lot.
That is. Now, but fewer than half of retailers surveyed believe that online consumer reviews are influential. 3 out of 4 of those retailers believed an in-store visit is the most influential to a consumer. So let's break that apart.
Hit me with
interesting.
that again.
Okay, so basically 80% of people shopping say reviews influence their buying decision. And about the same number of retailers say the in-store visit's the most important thing. And here's what I'm thinking about that. And I want to get your
So they
reaction.
both think that it's their own experience that matters most, right?
Now, I will say, if you're buying online and that's the channel you're going to use, reviews are probably the most important thing. However, if you're somebody who is planning to buy in-store,
context,
of course the in-store visit's going to matter the most. So there could, whenever you put these research projects out there, sometimes if there's not like extreme clarity around this one silo you're trying to figure out, you can end up with like some information that's like, wait, why did they say that? So it just doesn't make sense. But I think it's interesting to think about the marketplace in its traditional format, because for a long time you'd have one brand of bed, but it's the same build on the other side of town with a different name. So we've not facilitated people being able to go and look at reviews, and I understand why. Like, I get it, the business dynamics there. But in a world, and I want your reaction, in a world where people are looking at reviews, should we facilitate that more? Should we build a moat around our retail presence, our brick and mortar retail presence? How would you think about that?
Well, okay, so it brings me back to a conversation I had with the buyer at Walmart, actually. So this was a while back, but they were talking about what they were going to do with their in-store business. And one of the things that inspired her to go with a major bed-in-a-box brand, which I believe is Zinus, I believe that's what they did, is because Simmons at the time was not as intentional at getting reviews on products. And the major traditional brands transition products so much that by the time you drive reviews on, let's call it the Arbor, just made that up, by the way. That's a tree.
I like
Arbor.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
You could have said goodbed.com.
For what?
What, driving reviews?
No, this was like if you have a
you're
name,
making up the mattress brand.
a bed name, Arbor.
Oh, let's call
You
it
want to call it
the whale.
something? Okay,
Because he
the
has
bed-
a whale on his shirt.
I don't think anyone cares.
He has a whale on his
but
shirt.
it's a yeah. So it's a whale bed.
Yeah.
The whale bed.
Whale bed.
Whale bed.
Whale bed.
WH, not well. WELL.
Whale. Whale.
Okay.
It's the whale bed.
Whale. Okay. I've had people say you guys are like sixth graders, and now I understand why
It's
they
all
say that.
well and good.
So, stop. Just stop. So the whale bed, if you have the whale bed and then you...
I'm sweating
next
now.
year, yeah. And next year you transition and it's called the dolphin bed.
Right.
Then you've built reviews on the whale bed and then it goes away. And so there's no brand equity in the review, right? So that's what I think about that. But
Well, you're right. I mean, you totally deteriorate. And so then brand becomes more important.
Right.
Because now, people think categorically, right? So that's why, Tempur-Pedic does such a good job, because they're getting people to use Tempur-Pedic as a surrogate for a mattress where you don't feel the other person, right? So
Yeah, right.
Anyway, you're right. It does break down over time. So how do you, as a Walmart of the world,
Yep.
deal with merchandising your new sleep shops, which they have? I saw a picture.
What?
The Walmart Sleep Shop, a dedicated in-store experience with only mattresses, and 4 of them are open, I know for a fact.
do they have a retail salesperson?
Didn't see one in the picture I saw, so don't know.
Okay, so I went to McDonald's yesterday to have a cup of coffee and just steal some Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
I had about an hour to kill. And I ordered my coffee on a kiosk. Have you seen those yet?
I used one the other day.
So we're
Yeah.
in Joplin. So this has probably already been out for 2 years in like California or something.
30
like that.
years.
30 years, right. But
A little bit behind.
anyway, so I thought it was really interesting. But now, when you said the Walmart thing, back in the day, 10 years, I want to tell you it was 10, maybe longer, they had a concept, store within a store at Walmart. They were going to put mattresses in there. I think Sealy was the partner at the time, but they didn't want to staff it. And so, but now fast forward, talk about being before your time, you could probably pull that off today. Don't you think? I mean, if you had a single solution or even a 2-bed solution, and you let people, and you literally facilitated the sale, and then you had an iPad or some touch screen interface, you could do that. I think you could get away with like having a non-staffed mattress store. I wonder if that's what they're doing.
Well, I know with Walmart, they've also launched their own bed-in-the-box brand. It's called Allswell.
Allswell, that.
And it's
Allswell, that.
Allswell?
Allswell.
Well,
That Inswell.
Allswell.
Are they going to do an Inswell? I just
Allswell.
want to know.
Yeah, that'd be your territory, mister.
Hey, I
yeah,
just
like,
close the
you're the
chapter.
guy that's like, we need to talk about sex in the industry more. We got to get talking about it. That's
What does that have to do with Inswell?
happy ending. That's what I thought you were referencing. See, my mind's in the gutter now because of him.
Okay, let's just stop right there.
See, Sharon's
Now I get
Sharon's
it.
making fun of us. Thank you, Sharon.
All right, thank you.
I'll
Sharon.
see you at lunch.
So anyway, by the way, so go back to that though. So what do you know about that? Like, what kind of product is it? Is it the Allswell brand? Is that what? Obviously, that would make sense, right? They're selling it in Walmart.
Yes, I don't know how they're merchandising it, but I'm pretty sure what I saw was import product in the
Yeah.
picture. So I do know that.
And I think their partner is Zinus on that.
And I know that Walmart's trying to commit to some made in the USA stuff, so there might be an opportunity there. But man, think about just the massive shift, like you said, way ahead of their time. From a category awareness standpoint, mattresses are going up. Like we as a culture are valuing sleep. I think people are paying attention to mattresses. Now, 2017 does not reflect that from the industry numbers, but from a reality standpoint, with the number of imports, the units are moving.
So you and I had a conversation earlier. There was an industry announcement that 2017 was down 4% units, 2% dollars, I think is what it was. And then and I swear it said that they're capturing bed in a box or e-commerce players in that number, and I refuse to believe that that's the case. I'll have to check it out, but I don't think that's the case. And I doubt very seriously that they're capturing the imports. But anyway, I have to. Well, if you know, send us a comment right now. I'd like to know that. But
Yeah, if you have some intel on anything, drop us a note. We want to hear about
Hey,
it. There are a
Evan,
lot of different opinions out there.
Evan, do me a favor and go buy Whalebed, WHALE, whalebed.com. I think there's something to that.
Okay, and he's on GoDaddy right now, and we secured it. Nicely done.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Right on the spot. Hey,
Okay, what's up?
okay. Well, I wrote this down because I know you have insights into it. City Furniture launched a waterbed.
Yes, they did.
All right, well, what's the story?
I was there.
You were.
I was there. I was there.
Weren't you with Tim Alded man?
Tim Reisinger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, Tim is a good friend of mine. Pat O'Brien, also a very good friend of mine, and both Sherway guys. And Tim sells to City Furniture, so he was nice enough to put up with me for a couple days. He and Pat both. Anyway, and Kevin Split, the buyer, who has also become a good friend, really good guy at City, gave me a big tour of City Furniture, which I'm going to tell you is like blew me away. I had never been there. And so to see this massive operation, and they do a brilliant job of Kaizen and oh gosh, you know, the Toyota mentality,
Six Sigma,
all of
Yeah.
that. The
Black
charts
belt
they had on
or
all
green
the
belts or
walls,
whatever it
and
is.
yeah, just really, really impressive. But anyway, and then they have a store out there, Rest and Renew, where we have some Spink and Edgar and Lucy and Carlton in the store. I got to meet them, and they're doing a fantastic job. So that was really cool in Los Olas. And then I got to sit down, and the whole reason for going was sitting down and talking to Keith Koenig with City Furniture and hear his story and talk about waterbeds. And, you know, Keith, and he's actually agreed to be on the podcast.
You talked him into being
I
on
did.
the
No,
podcast.
I didn't
Look
have to
how
talk him in. He
wanted to do it.
He's such a solid guy, and he's a really big philanthropist, an amazing person. His story and how he came up, I'm going to wait and save most of it for him to tell. But he was a waterbed guy. So that's the origin of his business. He and his brother, Kevin, and the story is really cool, and I know you do too. I love hearing stories about how people evolved in their business. But so anyway, he's going old school, man. He's going back, and he and some of the original patent holders on the waterbed are going back, and they're bringing it back. And I got to lay down on the beds, excuse me, and it was just really cool to see someone kind of attacking the market with something different. So.
All right. So, did they feel like the traditional waterbeds
They
that we
did.
think of?
Now, I have to tell you, I was really thinking that the waterbed, like there would be some shift or different thing to it. It wasn't going to feel like the traditional waterbed, but it did. As a matter of fact, I'm laying in bed, and this other lady, City Furniture employee, jumps in the bed with me, and you
back and
you
forth.
feel the thing. And this guy with a video camera is and you know, like capturing all this footage, and I'm like, okay, and so I didn't know why. Well, it was CBS Sunday Morning, that nationally syndicated show.
That's a great show.
I love that show.
show.
And they were doing a story on Keith, and I'm not sure it's going to actually air, but anyway. So they got this footage of me and this other person laying in the bed. Okay, later she comes up to me. It's a cocktail party. She said, "Can I get your name?" And I go, "Sure." You know, and I gave her my name. She said, "I just need to be able to tell my husband in case this airs. I need to tell him who I was in bed with. So I just think I need to know your name."
I was in bed with a
all right.
strange man at work.
Yeah. So I
And
immediately called Bridget, and I'm like, "Okay, just
knowing
in case."
knowing your name makes it. Yeah.
I don't know how that makes it any better, but yeah. So I'm going to blog about that coming up, and then we're going to have Keith on this podcast and
Awesome.
hear his story. How cool
Hey,
is that?
thank you in advance, Keith and City Furniture, and hey,
And Kevin, thanks
you
for
know,
hosting me.
I was just
and
thinking
everything.
too. Yeah, I was just thinking like, if you ever did a waterbed, maybe our whalebed.com waterbed whalebed
That's see now. See how this
Whalebed.
is all working together.
whalebed.
Well,
It could be a waterbed.
It could be a waterbed.
So hey, Keith, you might
Keith,
have some
there you go.
competition coming at you,
or maybe
you can floor
we just
it.
license it. To
We
him.
can floor. You can do it.
We'll
license
give you
it
the
to
name.
We have
We
the,
like you
We
a
have
lot.
the URL.
We'll give you our name.
Thank you,
Whalebed.
Evan.
There you go.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? How you doing, man? Hey, Ryan. I want to point something out. Ryan Monahan. He's right here on Facebook Live right now. Hey, Ryan. Thank you for the comments that you left on the last podcast.
I was gonna say, I was going
didn't
back
like
and forth with
properly
Ryan.
acknowledge.
Yeah.
He had really good insights.
He
He
did.
went back and watched and
So
gave some
he's
more
a
detailed
he's a
commentary.
digital guy, right? He's a marketing guy. I don't know a lot about Ryan, but
He's
hey,
the
man.
clicks versus the bricks.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The guy's got skills.
probably does
clearly.
both.
He's got good insight too. Sharon Barrett's saying so wrong.
So
What did-
wrong.
What,
What
did you
was
say?
wrong? She's talking
You-
about the whale beds.
Obviously,
Yeah.
something
Well,
you said. Oh, that was the happy ending.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
No, she's talking about the
Yes,
whale
it
beds.
was. It was the Inswell.
This is a whale bed. Hold on, move over so people can see the whale on your shirt. There you go. There he is.
That's
Whale.
it. That's a whale.
What
All
should
right.
we name the whale?
Oh, we have a good. No, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let them name the whale, and then we'll really have something special.
All right, how about this? We'll do a contest really quickly. So on Facebook Live, if you're on Facebook Live, you, by the end of the broadcast, well, why don't we put like a 5
Ryan's
minute-
ordering a T-shirt.
Why don't we
Ryan,
put a
I'm
five-
sorry, we're totally sold out.
We're
It's
sold
been
out.
a huge demand on these shirts.
The demand is through the roof.
Massive
So name the whale on Mark's shirt as part of our whale bed.
whale bed.
You name the whale. If you name the whale, we're gonna pick the winner at the end, and you're gonna win
Yeah.
a Dos
Oh,
Marcos
yeah.
T-shirt. How about that?
Oh boy.
All right, so let it start flowing in. Put the name of the whale in the comments. We'll pick our favorite, and you get these two ugly guys strapped to your face.
Hey, and this is bullshit, by the way. Sharon Baird said whale
You
bed.
can't say that on the podcast.
It's a podcast. You can say whatever you want. She says Quinn is dirty-minded. I was not.
I
that
agree.
person. No.
I agree with that.
Okay, so hey,
Assessment.
a great story. So can we go into the Tempur-Pedic thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys-
So Kinsley calls me, and he says, "Hey, I got a phone call, and I want you to summarize it, but." Kinsley sets all this up. He got a phone call, and he knows about a family here in Joplin, and they have a child that's very sick. So why don't you tell this story? And he asked me if I wanted to get involved, and it was a immediate hell yes because of what you're about to hear. But it was a really cool thing, and I just want to thank you for involving me in it. And it was just so cool. So how did it evolve? And then let's talk about Tempur-Pedic.
So our friends here in town, they came over and we were hanging out, and they're kind of new friends for us. And they were talking about their son has health issues, and he's had many brain surgeries, and it's created complications for him where he has a permanent trach because he stops breathing at night, and that's a tube that goes into your throat so he can breathe properly. And so he's been in and out of the hospital since he was like 5 years old, and he's now 13. And she was telling me that he, for the past 3 years, he wants a Tempur-Pedic mattress. And like that's what he's been asking for his birthday. And they can be expensive. They're really good quality products. And so they got him a foam topper. And so as I'm listening to this,
multiple foam toppers.
And so she's saying, hey, for him, he's been in the hospital a lot. Comfort is king.
And I'm going to tell you, this kid is really sick. Nick went to school with him, and he's been in this community, he's rallied around their family, and the mom and dad are fantastic. Megan and Gus.
Yeah, amazing.
Just great
super
people.
Positive
Anyway,
people.
yeah.
And so anyway, Megan's telling me that, hey, for Easton, comfort is king. Like she said, he walks around in a robe so often that I think he might turn into Hugh Hefner.
There's worse things.
Right. So anyway, comfort's a big deal, and whenever you're, dealing with all these different, medical things that can impact you, he wants a really nice mattress, and he'd been asking for it. But anyway, they got him the foam topper. So as an industry guy, I'm like, toppers are fine in certain situations, but you got to have the full thing. And It just kept rolling around in my mind for a couple of weeks. And so I got in touch with Rick Maynard from Tempur-Pedic, and he had needed some footage that I had. So I sent it to him, and in his note back, he said, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. And that just kept echoing in my mind for 3 days in a row. And the thing with Easton kept coming up. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell Rick and Tempur-Pedic Easton's story about him wanting their specific mattress and just see if we can work some sort of partnership out. So Rick came back, no hesitation. We're all in. Let's figure out the details. And so behind the scenes, Tempur-Pedic donated their TemperFlex Hybrid with an adjustable base, with wave massage, head up, foot up, the whole thing. And so we went to work. I was trying to figure out if we should surprise, the whole family or how it might work. So I got in contact with Gus, and he brought Megan into it. And then I called you, and I'm like, we got to do this together.
For sure.
And so we showed up at the house, and they brought Easton into the living room. And your son Nick was there, and he grabbed a video camera. And I think Easton was really confused about what was going on. He's sitting there kind of wide-eyed, what are these guys talking about? But we were trying to make a joke and say, we're famous in the mattress industry. You may not know us, but we're 50 people know who we are.
50-ish. Yeah.
On a big day.
On a big day, right.
And so actually we it was kind of ad-libbed, but I said, hey, we just wanted to give you this T-shirt with our faces on it. And he's sitting there going, why would I want that?
And I asked him, I said, you going to wear this shirt? He's like, I might to bed.
Yeah. Right.
Not in public, but I might,
And then I transitioned because my guys from Leggett had taken the base outside in a bed, and they laid it out on the grass, underneath the mattress bag, so that he could go out and be surprised. So at the moment we talked about that, I said, well, and we have a hot air balloon outside with our faces on it to get him outside. And so he came out and he saw the mattress, and he was just shocked. And from all accounts, following up with Megan and Gus, they're all sleeping on the mattress all the time, and they're having a great experience, and he's getting good sleep. And I just can't thank Tempur-Pedic enough for no questions asked. We're all in. Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes that touched this project. Thank you to my guys, Tyler and Jesse, who did the setup. and we're out there in like blazing 95-degree heat.
It was so
and they
hot.
took that bed up a staircase and over a rail, and they set it up. And thanks to Megan and Gus for letting us, do that, and thanks to Easton for being a super fan of sleep and an awesome kid.
So a couple thoughts. Easton, and when Mark says that Easton loves comfort, I'm telling you, if you guys, we have footage, so we'll be posting that, I hope, somewhere. But the kid just lit up, and he was so incredibly grateful for this bed. So first thought is Tempur-Pedic. You guys are ninja marketing guys, because if you can create a brand so cool and relevant that an adolescent kid desires to own it, it's a mattress. Hello, it's not like it's not a new version of Fortnite. It's like a mat. So and he wanted it. So he wanted it so
for
bad.
years in a row.
And he just loved it. And when he climbed into it and he saw that it moved and the massage and all of that, it just was so cool to see our industry through his eyes. And then it really upsets me. And I think to myself, as I look inside of our industry and I look at the messaging, Kinsley, of how we go at the consumer and how stupid it is that we don't talk about that moment when comfort is a big deal and you can get in that bed and you feel what you feel, because that happens a lot. And we don't talk about that very much. And so to see it through his eyes, I loved it for that reason. And then it's always true, isn't it, that to get to be part of that, you never ever, like whatever it was for you to reach out and get that donated, or for us to take time and do it, what it gave us, right? That's always what it is. I mean, it just felt so good to be there and be part of that. And to see his mom and dad so happy that their son, who's been so sick, now had a new bed where he's going to be spending so much of his time. And we're in his room and they've got all these machines and things. I can't imagine. I can't even fathom how tough it is for them to have a sick kid like that. But to see them enjoy that moment where he just got what he always wanted, it was just awesome. So thank you.
And what I got in the mail this morning was perfect timing, because Easton and the whole family sent a thank you card.
Oh,
and I got
great.
to start my day by reading that.
That's so cool.
And that was so special. And it, it really couldn't go to a better person, because Easton, spending all this time in the hospital, he kind of has his own story.
Yeah.
He spends a lot of time in the hospital, and in doing so, you often wear these gowns. And so he sees other kids that they don't have the family support that he has. And kids in the hospital getting treated for all kinds of conditions at the Children's Hospital in St. Louis with no pajamas. And he was there for 2 weeks this one time, and there was a girl that didn't have her family there. And she didn't have any PJs, and she was walking around in this gown. And he talked to his mom, and he said, we have to get her some PJs. So they went and they bought her some PJs. That turned into this whole initiative that Easton champions and leads with his mom, Megan, and the whole family, called Operation PJ.
Wow.
And they've donated over 4,000 pairs of pajamas to kids and kids in need and kids with medical conditions. They got featured in like a women's magazine, and this guy from New Jersey, who was like, big PJ in the U.S., donated so many that they had to put them in a warehouse. And they've been like, and this is all because Easton saw in his heart, and he saw other kids in need, and he did something about it.
But you know what? If it's an issue in St. Louis, I'm sure it's an issue in other places.
It is. And I think they're pushing that out to a lot of different children's hospitals, and just what an amazing family, and what a great young man.
And I got to see Megan and Gus both at a cocktail party 2 nights later, and they said that he was absolutely loving his bed, and they could barely get him out of it. Like he's like in it all the time.
It was funny that afternoon we stuck around because it was a Friday, and that evening we stuck around, and after you left, we went out by the pool and we were just eating some food and hanging out, and they're like, we should go check on Easton. Gus went up and checked on Easton. He was already taking a nap in his Tempur-Pedic mattress. He was out cold. And I was like, that's a good sign. That's
so
really good
to
sign.
Tempur-Pedic, well, first of all, thank you, because I loved being part of that. And thanks for setting that up and having a heart for that and for that kid and that family. And then to Tempur-Pedic, well done. Very, very happy that you guys did that. So thank you for that. And congrats on creating a brand so compelling that kid would even want it. So that's a big win. And then lastly, I guess from my perspective, goes back to the comment. Think about it. If you're watching this and you're in this industry, you're listening to this, think about what you do, right? You're not selling beds or pillows or sheets. You are in the business of improving quality of life. That's what you do. So just really let that settle on you, right?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we've been banging this drum for a long time, and I think that there are so many people that have rallied around that message, that have, kind of reoriented themselves, because I think there are people that knew it at one time, and then you get away from it, and then now we're coming back to it. I think sleep is at an all-time high in terms of people being aware of it, valuing it. You look at a lot of these influencers that are doing podcasts and have huge audiences. The conversation about sleep is in almost every single one of them.
It is. Aubrey Marcus, Joe Rogan. I mean,
Chase Jarvis,
Tim
Ferriss.
Jarvis. We listen to Tim Ferriss for sure. Huffington Post. Everyone's kind of getting dialed into it. But here's my prediction: I don't think we're even close to maturity on the subject of sleep.
Totally agree.
I think there's so much we don't know about sleep. I think that there's so much education. Case in point, how many people? And we talked about this. How many people, adults even, really understand when you should stop drinking caffeine and why you should stop drinking caffeine because of how incredibly bad it is for your sleep. Just that one simple thing. Caffeine is such a staple in so many people's life, and people just don't freaking get it. And so just think about it as a case in point, that one thing.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, you think about things you drink, alcohol can make you fall asleep. But what it does,
smoking pot these days. I've been listening to that.
Marijuana is
They're saying alcohol and pot can both help you get to sleep, but
you don't hit deep REM sleep. It actually keeps you elevated from that trough of REM sleep that allows you to have restorative, deep rest. And that's a problem. So you might fall asleep, you might even stay asleep, but in excess, a little bit fine. In excess, you're gonna stay out of deep REM sleep, and it's gonna be a problem. So you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be like, well, I slept all night, I didn't really move, I'm looking at my Fitbit and this and that and the other, and you're trying to put the pieces together, but you didn't get deep REM sleep. You only get that with monitoring the three variables of quality sleep.
No doubt. So there you go. Shout out for sleep. Also, we have Magowitz coming up. I love the fact that you put your, and I just
I'm
noticed.
gonna put it on. I'm doing it.
Roger
Magowitz. What's
just
up, Roger?
Joined the podcast, Facebook Live.
Check this out.
Kinsley's got. I'm embarrassed that I don't have mine
recite
on.
for the podcast listeners what I have on here.
Sina Magowitz Golf Classic, and that was the 13th annual.
Yes.
So.
And you want to see what else I wore?
Oh yeah, right.
Okay. All right.
Look at you.
Yeah. This is happening.
That's really nice.
This is happening for the podcast listeners. I just put on part of my outfit from the 13th annual Sina Magowitz Classic, in which, by the way, we ended up on the Chive. It is a mattress hat. It actually has nano coil inside.
You made the Chive with that thing?
Unbeknownst to us, somebody sent us a link, and they said, you guys are on the Chive under the 27th worst dressed people of all time. I said, show me that link, baby.
Hey, all right.
So this was the mattress hat that we wore. We had the pink shirt, and we actually had ticking pants with a mattress tag hanging off the side. And, of course, we're like the 5-time reigning champs now. So this is the hat. This is my thinking hat now. I put it on whenever I need to have just the best thoughts about the mattress industry.
Is that actually
Yeah,
hurt?
there was a guy that tried to take a swing with this thing on, and you can't look down at the golf ball or you will either tip over or it falls off.
You look like a mushroom.
Yeah,
You
like
do.
a Mario Brothers.
So let's talk about Magowitz, and then I want to talk to you about the reason that you have that on, because it's important.
It is.
Magowitz is coming up.
You're the honorary chairman.
I
first of
am.
all.
Yeah, Roger was nice enough
And
to
for
ask
people
me.
who don't know what the Sina Magowitz Foundation in the Golf Classic, let's tee it up for them. Oh, look at that pun.
Very nice. So Magowitz is Roger Magowitz has become a good friend to me, and his mother died of pancreatic cancer, and so Roger has created this golf event that is the premier event, I think, in the industry, or at least one of them, but I'd say probably the premier. And anyway, so it's a event where you go and play some golf, but you get to spend time with some of the industry leaders. It's kind of a who's who of the industry, essentially. And you get to go and just be with people. And it's not a business thing. It's very much a relational thing. And Dr. Von Hoff, we also call him Dr. Von Hope, who is one of the chief scientists at TGen, a group out of Arizona. He's brilliant, and he's just this guy that's got this incredibly big heart for people and his patients. And they've done some really terrific research, and they are improving quality of life, Kinsley, for people that get diagnosed. One of the problems for people that find out they have pancreatic cancer, like they go to doctors and the guys, the doctors essentially say, yeah, you pretty much are dead, or you've been given this terrible death sentence. And it's a really negative thing. And Dr. Von Hoff really doesn't want that to be their experience, because, they're doing stuff to really help people in their quality of life and to give them hope. And so anyway, and that's where we put the money. That Roger donates the funds from this to TGen and Dr. Von Hoff, and that amazing organization there. And so I get to go be part of that. And we've got thanks to you and the help of the rest of the advisory board, we've assembled some of the top industry leadership today for different companies. Pure Care, Protect-A-Bed, Maloof, to name a few, Certis Simmons, Tempur-Pedic, our buddy Brett
on the retail
Thornton,
side too.
On the retail side, Northwest, Bedmart, Art Van. I mean, just some Dave with Metro Mattress, Sinomax. Just a lot of really great companies sit and sleep on the West Coast.
Trent
Coming
Ramberger,
together, Trent Ramberger, yep, and so just really cool people coming together, Culp Industries, to help us do a couple of things. Number one, spread the word, awareness, and number two, raise money, and then number three, just be at the event, because there's something about being there connects you to this cause in a really cool, impactful way. Very, very emotional and very, very fun. Stay at Boston Harbor Hotel, amazing place. The golf course is incredible. We're gonna go on duck rides.
Duck
right?
rides, I'm in on that.
On the boat, right? And a lobster bake.
Clam bake.
Stop. It's a clam bake.
Hey, what is a clam bake, by the way?
I just learned it is shellfish. They said clam bake, and I said, well, we should do lobster. And
Hey, I'm giving you a hard time, but
it is lobster. I'm okay.
I didn't know the exact definition either.
Okay, so anyway,
That's what happens when you grow up in the most landlocked place on the planet, Kansas.
Yeah. Well, right, and I grew up in same Missouri, Kansas. But anyway, so it's really cool. So go check it out.
But hold on,
CinaMagowitz.org, I think, is the website, and the dates.
August 25th to 27th, and that's one of the keys here. Save the date. This is the premier event. It's funny because as you're sitting here talking about a very serious topic, you've got this buffoon sitting beside you. But that's the weekend. It's a weekend of emotion and deep hope and people who are surviving this terrible, terrible disease and remembering those who haven't, and remembering the research that's led to lengthening life. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're having duck rides and boats. But that's like the range of emotion you experience as a human being, and you get to pack that into a weekend in a way that I've never been a part of, ever.
When you spend any time with Roger and anyone from the TGen organization, and you just have and you see some of the warriors there that are people dealing with, and they'll be there, people that are dealing with the disease right now, it touches your heart in a very profound way. And I promise you this, if you get involved with us, because we're going to give people a chance, Kinsley and I have cooked up what we think has the potential to be something really, really cool in the social media space.
Imagine that.
And everybody watching this or listening to this right now will be able to participate. And I'm telling you, if you do that, and if you go to the event, and we'll be announcing that maybe in a week or so, then we are confident that you will really be connected to something special, and you'll feel something great as a result of it. So anyway, there you go.
Love it, man. Hey, in honor of you being the honorary chairman, I think you should wear the crown.
Oh, thank you so much.
What do you think?
Are
you willing
I don't even know if I'm...
Can you hold the crown? Look at that.
It barely fits my fat head. Hey, real quick, you're talking about the quilting in this. Leggett's doing some cool stuff with quilting, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the story?
You know what?
That?
I got a couple of hats. I want to save them for the next podcast.
We quilt
Would you
on
wear
our
them
beds.
for?
Yeah.
You quilt the side panels?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes, I will definitely.
We're gonna talk
wear
about
them.
some. You look good in that hat, man.
Thank
you look good.
Does it make my ass look big?
Yeah.
This hat?
Yeah. It's a whale of an ass. Hold on. We got some names to read back. We got to give away our T-shirt. So if you tune into Facebook Live, you're listening on the podcast. You got to tune into Facebook Live. We tell you about it ahead of time. But we named the whale. Sharon named it Winifred. How about Winifred?
Wendell.
We have
wait.
Bolsa the whale. Did I miss one?
Yeah, you did. Diana Brockman
Wendell
says Wendell the whale. I like that.
Wendell the whale.
That makes sense.
Wally the whale says David Allen
Wally
Otten.
the whale. Good.
Quinn is dirty. That's not a name for a whale.
That's not a name for the whale. Keep
okay,
going.
I think we need to go down now. So we have Wendell. We have Wally. We have Winifred. We have Bolsa Whale. That's the name of one of the coils we make.
That's
at
that's
Leggett.
pandering.
Are you
Ryan.
pandering, Ryan?
Gosh,
Thank
that's
you,
terrible.
Ryan.
Weblock whale.
Thumbs up, Ryan. I'm giving
Seymour.
you a like
whoa,
on that one.
Go Seymour.
Oh, Seymour.
Seymour.
Fail Whale. That's
All right,
that's
Fail
the
Whale.
name of our podcast that we do. It's basically the
Stop.
Fail Whale. We also have. Diana says, correction. It should be Wendell.
Wendell. Yeah.
All right. What do you? So
I love it. Well, we'll pick it and tune back into the Facebook.
Actually, I'm gonna.
Are you just gonna call
pick
it?
Yeah.
All right, call it.
Fail Whale. Like, I think it's just a good summary of so many things that have happened with us that I want to
Fail well.
because it's a hashtag Fail Whale.
Oh, I like
I think we could get something started in the social space.
All right, congratulations, Ryan. Fail whale it is. And for the rest of you, what we should do? We should send anyone a T-shirt. Anyone who put
Yeah.
a name up. Let's
Hey,
do that.
send me an email to mark.kinsley@leggett.com. Wait. Did I just hide Ryan's comment?
No, you pinned it.
I pinned it. Oh, I pinned your comment. Here, let me. How do I comment back? Here, I'm going to type it in here. Just send me an email.
Ryan's very happy. I mean, this might be one of the biggest things that's ever happened to Ryan.
Hashtag fail well. Cool. So, hey, thank you all for tuning in to Facebook Live. Tell your friends about it. Like, if you could give us a thumbs up on iTunes, let somebody know in the industry.
Has anyone ever given us a thumbs up on iTunes? Do we have any?
We got a thumb sideways once.
For real?
I'll take it.
Other than that, there's
Oh.
been no...
No, I don't think so. You know what we should do real quickly? I got this fortune cookie at the Panda Express, and that's the source of all. I think we should open it here. It's
Really?
I figured, why not?
Just a random...
just a random. Okay.
So is this your future?
Yeah, it's
Or the future of Dos Marcos
future of-
podcast?
okay. Here, the fortune says a small gift will become a prized possession. I think they're talking about fail well on your shirt.
As long as it's not the hat.
It's not the hat.
Yeah. So to
Oh, wait, you got to finish it though. A small gift will become a prized possession.
in bed.
There you go.
They're talking
Here,
about
you want,
you.
Here,
They're talking
take-
about you.
Take this.
Small gift. So, hey, real quick though, you're talking about quilting. You wanted to tell me about what Leggett's doing with quilting. Are we going to bounce off of that? You want to save it for next time?
I'm gonna save it for next time, but I'll tell you this: I'll tease it as we eat our fortune cookie. The whole message is, look at how you can change the feel of a bed because so many covers have gone to like stretch knit.
Right. Flat. Right.
I think people need to remember all the benefits that come from quilting. And some of the different things you can do from a feel perspective, from a look perspective. If you come into a store and you see it,
Yeah.
elevating its its perceived value and things like that. But we'll get into some fun stuff around that next time. And I got a couple of hats to wear. Will you wear the hat with me?
I will absolutely wear the hat. I guess I should ask before and see what they look like. But hey, good fortune cookie. And I don't know. What else is there?
I don't
Anything?
think there's anything else. Save the day for the Sina Magowitz event, August 25th through 27th. Go to SinaMagowitzFoundation.org. You can get registered. Roger's phone number's on there. Roger, thank you for tuning in today. It's great to have you here. And just get connected with us on social.
I'm going to the Metro Mattress event next week
Cool. Hey, well, let
in
us know how it
upstate
goes.
New York. I will come back with a report. But anyway, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.
What is a hybrid? It's like peanut butter jelly, peanut butter chocolate. Hybrid so tight, there's no way that you could topple it. Hybrid on my wrist, that's a calculator watch.